What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Crypto Catch Up. Of course, your number one place to catch up on crypto. Well, Bitcoin's price has now started to pull back, and some of these key metrics in the market are finally starting to flip like we've been looking for. And so in today's video, I want to catch you all up on exactly what is going on, what I'm expecting, and what I'm doing now. And so with that said, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's catch up on crypto. Now, guys, don't forget, if you do want to trade a little bit of crypto yourself on up to 500x leverage, as you can see here, you can use that link down to BTCC down in the description below. Not only do you not need to KYC, meaning you don't have to give them your personal information to start trading and deposit and withdraw, etc., but you're also going to get up to 10% in bonuses on first time deposits over $500. So say, for example, if you deposit $4,000, guys, you're going to get $400 back right then on the spot to trade. And say you turn that into $900, you keep your profits. They're literally giving you money back. So go check that out down below. That's one of the best deals I've ever been able to put together since 2021. And on top of that, you will get up to $10,000 in bonuses and extra credits, and you're going to get 40% lower trading fees with your SVIP1, all available through that BTCC link down below. Again, guys, that was a very hard deal to put together, so go check that out and do not miss out. Now, let's start off today with the news. Actually, I know that's a little bit unusual, but not a lot happening in the news in the last 24 hours. So let's start off with the news, then we'll talk about the price, then we'll talk about the fundamentals. So in terms of news, again, not too much going on today. We did get some pretty cool news that for a second there, Bitcoin's market cap had flipped silver's, which I always find to be interesting. I do think that positions it in a very good spot. I do think it should be above silver, if I'm being quite honest. And so because of this, the race to catching the gold market cap still continues. And of course, it is interesting to see this playing out. Now, I do believe we're under it now. I think silver flipped it back into the 8th spot, but it was cool to see that happening, right? Silver is obviously something, an asset, that has been around for a very long time. And so for this whole new Bitcoin to pop up and, take its place in the top 10 is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I love to see it. Very cool news. Even more information, Bitcoin and crypto market cap could hit $10 trillion by 2026 under Donald Trump. Now, currently speaking, I actually don't remember what the exact market cap's at. We're at about 2.8 trillion, so that's saying it could about 3x. I think that's super reasonable. I don't think there's any reason we couldn't see the total market cap 3x, especially if we do see liquidity funneling over into the altcoin market. So yeah, I think that's possible. It makes a lot of sense to me. The next up, we see President-elect Trump to appoint pro-crypto cabinet to make the U.S. crypto capital of the planet. And kind of backing off of that, again, we can see here that Senator Loomis came out and said that they believe that within the first 100 days they can pass the Bitcoin Act once Trump gets into office, which of course will allow for Bitcoin to become a part of the strategic reserve for the United States, which is absolutely insane. And of course, if the biggest, most powerful country, take it how you may be, is of course buying crypto and buying Bitcoin and putting it into a strategic reserve, it's most likely that you're going to see just about every major country do the same. And so because of that, all of this is fantastic news in my opinion. I just do love to see this wave of news that we've been getting since the election. I think that it's going to continue to bring more and more eyes to the market, especially when things like this are happening. So overall, some pretty damn good news today. Pretty cool news. I'm looking forward to seeing some of this continue. Now, going a little bit deeper, let's talk about what's happening with the price of Bitcoin here, because of course it has been pulling back a little bit, leaving a lot of people wondering what in the world is going on. So when I do look at Bitcoin, I would also will remind you guys, I do have a Patreon down below. I don't talk about it a ton here on the channel, but you can join for as little as $1 a month. If you do want to check it out for $1 a month, you can join the community, ask me questions, talk to me, talk to other community members. And for $5 a month, you can get extra thoughts and insights from me about events and news, daily fundamental analysis, daily technical analysis, and I am releasing some crash courses for beginners about technical analysis, fundamental analysis, analyzing meme coins, things like that. So feel free to go check all that out down below, again, for $1 or $5 a month. Now, looking at the charts here, let's talk about where we are, okay? So what people need to understand is that if Bitcoin does decide to pull back right now, that's not a bad thing at all. You have to understand that it was in a macro structure. It had a key breakout of its 618 to 786 zone. It broke above it, back tested both this structure and this key Fibonacci zone, used the support that it established, flipped it into some support, so flipped that resistance into some support, used that support to break towards the upside, surpassing its all-time high, high and breaking not only through its 1.272 Fibonacci level, but even extending further than that. Now, in the time that happened, of course, we saw our Bollinger Bands get fully extended to the top side as Bitcoin's price did break outside of them, and we saw our daily RSI get extremely overextended, the highest that it's been since March of this year. And so as these things, of course, did happen, we were talking about the fact that Bitcoin's getting a little bit high, and this is starting to look a little bit worrying, and that you could probably expect some sort of 3 to 10% pullback to the downside, because quite frankly, Bitcoin is just going too far too fast. And so knowing that, and obviously having that in mind and keeping that in mind, I would say that a pullback right now makes a ton of sense. It doesn't mean that this entire run is over, or that the bull market is over, or any of this bullshit that you're going to see all over these other channels. It's just a healthy pullback. People are up, people are taking profits, we're extremely overextended, all of your indicators were getting too high, and your bulls just got exhausted because they pushed this thing from 60, I mean, what was this? Like, realistically, this is 67,000 to 89,000 over the course of just a week and a half. And so, of course, they're going to get exhausted. Of course, they're going to want to take profits. It's normal and it's natural and it's what you should expect. I do personally think that there's a decent sized chance that Bitcoin's price comes back down as low as $82,000 at least to come back down and try to retest that previous point there. We do know that this 1.272 Fibonacci extension level is extremely important, especially once we got this back test here. And so Bitcoin's price coming back down towards that level makes a ton of sense to me, and that's somewhat what I'm expecting. Now, we are in a bull market and there's a lot of news flying around, and so maybe it doesn't, right? Maybe its price does maintain here, puts in a bit of a bullish flag, and then breaks towards the upside. Fantastic. If that is the case, I do think we're going to continue our trek to 95K. I just don't think that's what's most likely. I think it's most likely Bitcoin does continue down a little bit more, head back towards some of these key levels starting around $82,000, re-enter back into those Bollinger Bands, maybe intersect with this 20 simple moving average at some given point, and try to use that, that foundation to create a base to try to continue higher eventually. And so does it mean, of course, that this run is over? No, it doesn't particularly have to mean that, but it wouldn't shock me if we do get a couple days or a week or two of this thing calming the F down before we do try to continue a bit higher. And so overall, guys, it's healthy, it's natural, calm down, it's no biggie. This is why we were taking a little bit of profits off the table and stuff like that, because these pullbacks can kind of come out of nowhere, and at the end of the day, they are expected. Now, I do have some good news for you, though, and the good news is that it seems likely that as its price does continue lower, that the breakout is going to very much so likely happen. I do think that if we do continue towards the downside, I really think we're going to find some support and try to continue upwards. And the reason being is because what we are seeing from liquidations right now. So if I do go out to liquidation heat map model 2 and I go out to like the 48 hours, no, the 24 hours even works, you can start to see what's happening. Do you see all of these liquidations? Let me go to, there we go. Do you see all of these liquidations that are building above 90,000 right now? I mean, look at this. Let me just zoom in a little bit more. Here we go. Look at the liquidations that are forming. And you guys know how I feel about liquidations. When a mass gathering, a congregation of liquidations does happen, the likelihood is that you're going to press into them at some point. It might go down and down and down and down, and those liquidations are going to get higher and higher as the shorts think that they're right, and they're going to expect this market to go down, and then bam sauce, we're going to go right back onto towards the upside. And we've seen that several times throughout history. You know, if I go out to the 6-month chart, you can see what happens when those big ass liquidations form, right? You have these moments where you have something like this, boom, you press on through it. You look at something even like the yearly on yearly liquidations, it's the same exact thing. Look at how it was building and building and building right here as the price was going down, and the next thing you know, bam, we smashed through it, liquidating tens of millions, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars worth of liquidations. And so whenever we start to see the price pulling back here, and we do start to see these liquidations forming, it tells me, okay, great, let Bitcoin keep going down. Let it keep going down lower and lower. Let these longs double, or these shorters double down on their trades. Let this liquidation get bigger and bigger and bigger. And next thing you know, when we find that higher low and we shoot back towards the upside, we're going to mass liquidate all of those people again, and Bitcoin's price is going to try to continue more towards the upside. And so since we are seeing this back test right now, I'm like, hey, let it go down. Let this bad boy keep heading right here, because when we do build that foundation and we start gaining momentum again, we're going to liquidate billions of dollars of shorts and continue that short squeeze towards the upside. Now, when you do pair this up with what we're seeing from our RSI right now, I actually would say that it's actually pretty damn good, and I think again it's really likely. You look at something like your 24-hour RSI and it's already back under the strong zone, and that's a good thing. When we see Bitcoin's price pulling back and the market pulling back, you want to see your indicators actually cooling off. You want to see them actually slowing down. The scariest thing is that whenever like your price starts going down but your indicators are still extremely overextended to the top side. Like, you see how Bitcoin is still way up up here, that's not a good sign. That's not a good thing, because it means you have to go much further to really get a good reset, or spend much more time in going sideways to get a good reset. But the fact that the general crypto market is resetting back to a point of neutrality on your shorter indicators just tells me that we're in a good spot, and that it's again very likely that even if we do continue lower, we're going to try to build a higher low, and we should be able to continue this run towards the upside. So overall, this thing is flipping really good. If you do look at your liquidation map right now, we're actually seeing that flip a bit as well. We had a huge imbalance yesterday from liquidations that would happen if the market went down to if the market goes up. And now again, you can really start to see the liquidations building here towards the upside. So as Bitcoin's price does go down, as the market does go down, I am going to be getting more and more confident and optimistic that we are going to find some support and try to continue upwards. And my first primary level starts at $82,000. So of course, I will continue to update you as this does play out, but things are looking great. I love the fact that this market's cooled down. I love the fact that it's pulling back a little bit. I want to go find that foundation. I want to go find that support. Let those shorters get too overconfident, and then bam sauce, we liquidate and push higher and continue up towards our next breakout target of $95,000. So overall, I hope, of course, this was a good update for you. I try to, of course, cover the news, the technicals, and the fundamentals on a daily basis for Bitcoin. And then later in the afternoon, I go over the altcoin market and where that's at. So do stay tuned for an altcoin video coming later today. And of course, if you do want extra content from me, don't forget I do have a Patreon down below that you can join for as little as $1 a month. And lastly, if you do want to trade some Bitcoin yourself, you can trade it on up to 500x leverage using that link to BTCC down below, where you will get an automatic 10% deposit back on your first time deposit. So definitely go check all those links down below. Thank you for tuning into the Crypto Catch Up this morning, and I can't wait to see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.